We're here. Brodia Castle. I don't see any Elusian soldiers. Thank goodness. The attack hasn't begun.
Wait, there's someone in front of the gate. He doesn't look like a guard.
Is it an enemy soldier? No, that's Diamant! He must have come out to greet us!
I've been waiting for you, Divine One. I greet you as the Crown Prince of Brodia. I'm Diamant. I've heard so much about you. I'm honored to finally meet the legend in person.
It's a pleasure, Prince Diamant.
And Prince Alfred, welcome. Queen Ev's letter explained your situation. Thanks for coming all this way. It's good to see you.
Likewise. I'm sorry it took a war for us to meet again after all this time.
Oh, and Alchrist. Thanks for escorting our guests from the border. I know that's a rugged road.
It was nothing, really. I bear ill news, however. Elusian forces attacked us at the Grand Crossing.
Is that right?
A battalion led by Princess Hortensia. We fought her off, but she said something troubling. The Crown Princess intends to assault Brodia Castle. If they're after our emblem ring, we may be on course for a dangerous confrontation.
We'll have to prepare our defenses. Thanks for the warning, Alchrist. Come. Father will want to hear about this.
Why do you all look so tense?
Father, you were supposed to be waiting inside.
Yes, I know. And I was. But then I had this feeling my boy Alchrist might be home. Seems my fatherly intuition was right, as usual. Welcome back, son.
Thank you, Father.
I wish you'd stop finding excuses to leave the castle. It's not safe out here.
Please, Diamant, not another lecture. Where's the harm in welcoming my dear boy back from his journey? Anyway, we'd best not argue in front of our guests.
Oh, it's all right.
Please, pardon my rudeness. Divine One, Prince Alfred, welcome. I am Morian, King of Brodia.
Good to meet you.
Likewise. I never imagined I'd meet the Divine Dragon. Indeed, such a special occasion calls for a welcoming duel.
There's no time for that. We have an important matter to discuss. As Alchrist was escorting our guests from the border, Elusian soldiers attacked them.
Huh. Elusians.
It appears that the Crown Princess is planning an assault on Brodia Castle.
Already making their move, huh? Soldiers, go now! Shore up our defenses!
Yes, Your Majesty.
Well done getting that information, Alchrist.
Please. I don't deserve such kind words.
Humble as ever, son.
King Morian, excuse me, but I need your kingdom's aid.
You want our emblem ring, right? I knew you'd ask. That's why I brought it. Here, the ring of the young lion. Hey, Diamant, think fast.
Father, we're supposed to take care of the ring, not throw it around.
Ah, you're no fun.
Alfred,
Yes?
King Morian seems so nice. This is the man who's always invading Elusia? I thought he'd be more intimidating.
You're seeing Morian friend and family man. He's known to be a big-hearted guy. But in battle, the demon comes out. He's not someone you want as your enemy.
Ugh. Father can be such a handful sometimes. Divine One, I've got the ring for you.
Thank you.
What will you do with it?
I'm going to summon an emblem. Rise up! Emblem of Binding!
I'm Roy. If you're summoning me, That can only mean war has begun.
There was a person in there?
How about that? All along, this emblem dwelt in our family's ring, and now you have released him. It seems divine is no exaggeration, huh?
Urgent news, Your Majesty. An Elusian Wyvern Rider is approaching. It's dodging all our archers' attacks.
What?
She's here. Divine One, may I call upon Roy's help to defend the castle?
Of course.
I, Princess Ivy, speak for the Elusian throne. I will now take your lives, your souls, and the rings.
I underestimated how far you could get into Brodian territory, Princess Ivy.
My soldiers are on the way. Now, I will give you a chance to surrender before they arrive.
Oh, I'm itching for that fight.
Father, go back to the castle.
What? Why?
If something happened to you, our country would be devastated. Please, leave this to us.
Right. Why should the king get a say in the matter? I'll do as you ask. But, Diamant, Alchrist, don't you dare get killed.
We won't.
Well, we'll try not to.
You must be the Divine Dragon.
That's right.
You really are as stunning as my sister said. I'm pleased to meet you. As is my ring.
But that's...
The ring of the Sage Lord. A gift from my father. With its power, I am sorry to say, I must kill you.
I won't let that happen. It's you who will fall, Princess Ivy.
You won't surrender then? In that case, my forces will prepare for battle.
As will ours.
I'll stop at nothing to get those rings back.
Welcome to Brodia Castle. Unlike Fiorne Castle, which we had to retake from the enemy, we got here quickly enough to play defense. That's reflected in a new loss condition. If the enemy seizes our position, we lose. We win by defeating Ivy. Ivy's a tough customer. Unlike her sister Hortensia, whose emblem was a hindrance if anything, Ivy wields the Ring of the Sage Lord, Leaf. He gives Ivy good bulk and adaptable, meaning she can switch weapons on our turn. Ivy's retainers Kagetsu and Zelkov move independently of her, unlike Rosado and Goldmary. The map seems to encourage a cautious plan. Use of fortifications and walls to split the enemies, wait for them to come to you, and use the energy tiles to refuel if need be. That can work, and it may be a more dramatic approach, but as often in Fire Emblem, offense is the best defense. If we take the initiative, we can ensure that Ivy and her retainers don't get the chance to work together and cause problems for us. Split up, they aren't especially intimidating. This is around when the optimizations from the early game start to really pay off. I have a promoted Berserker Anna on my bench, who doesn't need any more experience. Without any training projects right now, Saline will take Micaiah to rush ahead of the level curve. Alear will work with Sigurd to show off a dragon synergy we haven't seen. I finally gave Chloé Mercurius, she'll be able to get tons of experience as well. Citrine's a natural Celica user, so they're working together. We're bringing Etie and Alchrist for anti-flyer duties, and Yunaka's here is a great unit with 1-2 range and newly inherited Canter. Lapis and Alfred are along for the ride. Let's roll. The best part of this map is about to show up.
Finally, Horsey, you stopped! Where were you taking me? Huh? Wait, is this the castle? Is that Prince Diamant?
Amber?
What are Elusian soldiers doing here?
They've attacked us. Say, Amber, weren't you out fighting beasts?
I was, but then Horsey got spooked and wouldn't listen to me. I kept getting tossed around on its back, and next thing I know, here I am.
I'll never understand how you end up in these strange situations. But this time, it works in our favor. I was just wishing you were here.
Maybe Horsey sensed this danger. That's so clever of you!
Ready to defend the castle together?
I was born ready!
If our enemies reach the gate, the castle will be theirs. We can't allow that to happen.
This is an exciting set of analyses. Say hello to our new friends. With Roy, it feels like the designers were inspired by his Smash incarnation. He's all about trading blows up close and personal. His Engage skill, Rise Above, is a cool idea. Instead of giving you a fixed stat buff, it gives you temporary auto levels based on your growths. Combined with his great strength bonus, it's surprisingly common for those extra points to reach a kill threshold and materially affect combat. There's no other emblem that gives his stat combination, most importantly his strength, and many great units want exactly what Roy provides. His Sync skill, Hold Out, ensures survival above a certain HP threshold. For impulsive players like me, this is quite fun. You don't have to carefully calculate damage for a lot more enemy phases. It's also fantastic in optimized skill builds when combined with the likes of Vantage, but it's in some sense the least important part of most of those builds. There are other ways to get a unit to low HP. Roy's Engage attack, although relatively weak, fits him. It does damage in an area in front of the user and sets the area on fire. It's most useful in the front lines. The flames can weaken foes and hamper enemy reinforcements. You probably won't get it to one-shot anything, because a single sword hit tends to hurt about as much as a pool noodle, but as an opening attack to soften foes and split them up before your back line can come in, it works well. It seems like Roy helps you do everything a great Fire Emblem unit needs to do. When enemies try to kill you, don't die, and kill them back. There's a catch though. You need 1-2 range to actually counterattack many foes. A sword user who wants to use Roy's Engage attack in effective weapons often can't put his resistance in bulk to enough use on enemy phase. That changes at bond level 15. The Binding Blade, on top of a massive +5 boost to defense and resistance, has 1-2 range and 14 might. With this blade equipped, Roy's whole kit comes together. You can go deep into enemy lines, take a dozen hits, and do huge damage in return. Everything I've said about magic being better on enemy phase doesn't really apply once you get the Binding Blade, and unlike mages, you don't need any support to tank damage. Roy is quite different in the early and late game. In the early game, he's useful for baiting enemies and doing enemy phase combat before you have other better tools for that job. In the late game, the Binding Blade can give you a classic GBA Fire Emblem experience. A dominant unit with 1-2 range and fantastic stats who wipes out half the map on enemy phase. Diamant, Crown Prince Charming of Brodia, certainly commands your attention. A lot of the people we've met in Brodia play on some aspects of Diamant's character. He feels like the center of his future domain in a way that Alfred doesn't in Fiorne. Does all that style translate to the battlefield? His growths are fairly well-rounded, leaning towards bulk. His HP and defense are excellent, and his good strength and build round that out. He thrives on the front lines. He's bundled with Roy, who accentuates those strengths. Being locked to swords is eventually unworkable in enemy phase, but once he promotes, he'll have hand axes and tomahawks as he wishes. Axes are a great fit for his high build. He does suffer a bit from the problems his fellow royals Alfred and Saline have on maddening. As enemy stats take off, being alright at everything can sometimes turn into not being good enough at anything to perform well. Without an investment, he'll usually end up around where Lapis is, a frontline unit that can take a few hits and do chip damage. His stat spread is a little better for that, but it's not anything to get excited about. Like his brother, if you're just interested in a unit for generic physical classes like Warrior, you can do better. With investment, things get more interesting. Diamant has by far the best proc skill in most Fire Emblem games, Soul, giving him a dex % chance to heal 50% of dealt damage. You could imagine turning Diamant into an unkillable lifesteal juggernaut who has functionally infinite HP, though a Nosferatu Robin or Soul Ninja Silas can dominate in their games. Engage's designers understood this too, unfortunately for Diamant. They balanced him in a really interesting way. With the vast majority of builds, stat caps don't matter. Maybe you lose out on a point or two of something near the end of the game, but that's barely noticeable. You'll notice with Diamant, trust me. Successier Diamant has a dexterity cap of 22. A level 40 Diamant is still rocking the dexterity Alcris will have in a couple chapters. 22 is literally the same as his magic cap in that class. I've heard people say this is a problem with Diamant himself, but it isn't. His dex cap and axe hero is 36, for example. He has a good personal base, so his dex isn't as awful as it might sound even with the bad growth. His personal ability gives him good hit rates on player phase, so his dex problem doesn't even affect that. That 22 dex cap is a surgically precise nerf to the stat you need to proc soul and deal damage without missing, targeted just for enemy phase, high investment Diamant in his personal class. It's pretty clever design when you think about it like that. The takeaway is that Diamant almost shapes up into an amazing soul juggernaut, but the stat he needs to do that never quite materializes. There's really no way to fix it. Stat boosters or V-classes won't help. You know how I said he likes axes? Not with 22 dex against endgame Griffin Knights he doesn't. You can try to stack dex boost after maxing out, and you can inherit hit plus to fix the accuracy, but soul never becomes reliable. It's more like Alcris' parallel Luna than an easy way to beat maddening. That's especially true when you're limited to 1-2 range axes, which aren't very impressive compared to daggers or magic. None of those issues are unsolvable, but you can't normally fix them all at once, and so Diamant never quite hits the ceiling you might expect from him. That's not to say soul is bad, but you should think of it a bit like Lapis' Void, a way to make long enemy phases more reliable on a unit who's hopefully good without luck. Diamant has impressive bulk and takes hits well without relying on lifesteal. Roy makes a lot of sense for him. Holdout is great with soul, Diamant makes better use of Roy's stat buffs than basically anyone else because he wants every step at magic, and the Binding Blade makes him an incredible unit. Ike works well with his axes and makes him a bona fide tank. With DLC, Hector works, but Tiki is probably my favorite build for him. Her melee lock is objectively worse than Roy in the late game, but +5 to every stat makes him nearly unkillable combined with soul. There are very few units in Maddening that you can move into enemy range without always calculating damage, and Diamant can be that frontline workhorse for you. Diamant's an honorable prince. He's above cheap tricks, like bondage shield or dodge tanking. His personal's literally called Fair Fight and gives the opponent a hit as well. In Engage, it turns out the cheap tricks are pretty good, and a shopkeeper girl who we found in a treasure chest gets a better enemy phase than he does. If you're like Diamant and you yearn for a purer experience, no fancy skill builds, just chucking hand axes at people and taking hits like a champ, you'll have fun with him. Give him a defensive emblem, position well, and send in player phase units to clean up afterwards. On the other hand, if you love crazy skill BS and unfair fights, that's where Soul comes in. Stack 20 decks, and may the RNG be ever in your favor. Saving the best for last. I'm Amber's biggest fan. It takes rare strength to be earnest and authentic without letting ego or insecurities take the wheel, and many quote-unquote strong characters don't have the fortitude it takes to admit a mistake or display unreserved kindness without worrying about looking weak. Amber shows us what that real strength looks like, and I love him for it. Even if you don't find personal inspiration in the anime chess installment Fire Emblem Engage, Amber's a ray of golden alpaca-loving sunshine, brightening up any run with some of the funniest dialogue in the game. I have used Amber a lot. He's my profile picture on Discord right now. If this analysis sounds biased, that's because it is. Amber's basically the strongest character in Engage, not just in that deep emotional way, but also just a number on the stat screen. His poor dex can be a struggle, but Aspiring Hero helps fix that. It gives him extra hit when fighting separated from other units. He's not speedy, and his resistance is tragic. He has armored unit tier survivability against mages, who often double and one-round him. He has the physical bulk to take a few hits, but he's not invincible. You can't just recklessly charge into enemy formations. Against slower enemies or as speed support, he can use lighter weapons and try to one-round by doubling. Against frailer enemies, he can use a smash weapon or effective damage to go for one-shots. There's no one setup he has that works against most foes, however, so his ceiling's not quite as high as units like Anna, who can hit the one-round threshold for an entire map with a single weapon. As much as it pains me, I can't quite call him a great enemy phase unit. Physical benchmarks for enemy phase are brutal. On player phase, Amber gets to pick his battles, and that's a much better return on investment. You have a lot more tools for boosting damage on player phase as well, and mages can deal with the heavy armor. Amber's a decent enemy phase unit, but he may be the most versatile player phase unit in the game. I've talked about how Etie and Louis can find a niche using engage attacks with their high strength. That was actually an Amber psyop. If you accepted that logic, you can't back out now. You're forced to concede that Amber has the best engage attacks in the game. Most of them only depend on strength, and he's the strongest. You can often hit the one-hit KO thresholds other units miss when using engage attacks. Alfred's overrides aren't as impressive as they used to be. Amber can carry on his legacy one-shotting stuff. He works well with every physical emblem in the game. That makes him easy to slot in, like a utility baseball player that can switch positions to help out teammates. His high build gives him tons of options, and it means he can use heavy weapons so your other units don't have to be weighed down. There aren't many enemy formations he can solo, but conversely there aren't many enemy formations he can't delete an enemy from on player phase. Put him in Wyvern, let him fly around and activate Aspiring Hero and Air Raid, and give him whatever weapons he needs to do his job, effectives, braves, maybe a Great Axe. He makes most physical classes work, not just Wyvern. If you need a gameplay justification for Warrior Amber, for some reason, Bow Utilities get another job he can do so another unit doesn't have to. There's also a low investment specialty role he excels in if you don't have emblems to spare. In Halberdier with its skilled pincer attack, you're guaranteed to double so long as you're sandwiching a foe. Pincer attack's mutually exclusive with his personal, so I'd recommend inheriting Hit Plus to save some frustration. There are many enemies in Engage too bulky to one round and too fast to double naturally for anyone with the best units in your army. Halberdier Amber is able to one-round them on player phase, which frees up actions for other plans. If you've played 3 houses, Halberdier Amber feels a lot like using snipers or grapplers in that game. He can then approach a boss, delete a health bar with an engage attack if he has one, and add in 10% chip damage in every subsequent attack. All of this is made a lot easier because Amber joins at arguably the best time. His raw stats aren't crazy in comparison to Etie or Louis, but it's a lot easier to get him going. Future units like Pinette don't have the chance to inherit skills and build bond ranks early. For a lot of roles, those 4 units are interchangeable. While I can't honestly say Amber's on Pinette's level as a unit, he's not that far off, and he's pretty far ahead of Louis and Etie in my book. That book may have a drawing of Amber surrounded with hearts as the cover, but I think the conclusion still holds. In many of Amber's supports, he chases legends, storied artifacts that will make him a hero. He never finds some Excalibur that will mark him as such, just embarrassing misadventures. He takes his lumps like a champ, though, and always comes out better for the experience. He eventually sees that legends are made and not found. He's already well on his way to heroism, with or without a weapon sporting an unpronounceable name. In gameplay, giving Amber the best emblems in every stat booster doesn't give you quite the same returns as the best units. I'd know, trust me. Amber is a trooper. He can do jobs your other units can't without the top shelf resources. He's not the hero, really who is, but he is a hero. Amber doesn't come with a javelin, so Alfred gives him one. Amber does come with a missing smash weapon, a Great Lance, and he'll be able to take on 2 enemies with that.
Orders.
Citrine prepares to assist him.
Allow me.
Diamant and Lapis start moving towards a group of sword and axe users. As sword users, they'll have the advantage.
I'll do it.
All right.
With Divinely Inspiring, Divine Speed, a Strength boosting Healer Tonic, and Mercurius, Chloé can one-round the sword fighters. Because you have essentially 0 chance of doubling them, Divine Speed's effective plus 50% damage is crucial. We haven't given Chloé as much experience as you normally would want to, so this map will help fix that. We want these walls to come down. We're stronger than our foes, so fighting them is a good thing. Enemy movements on this map are annoying. There are tons of moving enemies far away from our units, which means lots of random behavior. On our first turn, because Micaiah has no one to heal yet, we can use Obstruct to reduce the number of ways things can go wrong.
live to fight again. Such a shame. I won't let you do what you want. We will not relent until the castle is ours.
These enemies all come at once. Our defenses won't hold.
Our castle has a ballista. We can use that to pick them off.
Alfred gets injured, as we've seen. If Amber missed, he could make sure everything still works. Citrine can then echo with Seraphim to take out both of the corrupted, and Saline can get a triple mend. I like the way the Illusion army has a mix of normal soldiers and corrupted. It feels suitably ominous.
May we all be protected. Allow your soul the rest it deserves. Emblem Engage.
Dragons get plus 20% damage with Override. Because the enemy flyers cooperated, which I think is reliable, but I can't guarantee. Alear gets a double kill.
Strike will decide it all.
Tell me where.
On the other side, we have a different way to plan around the flyer movement. If one of the flyers goes more north instead of west, out of ballista range, Alchrist can deal with them. In this setup, they've evaded Alchrist, but not the ballista. One of Alchrist or Etie one-shots the sword flyer, and the other one weakens the axe fighter. Basically, the combo of Etie and Alchrist cover all the flyer locations, and the other one can attack the axe fighter. Yunaka takes out that axe fighter, baiting the next enemy, and Chloé takes out the axe flyer.
Winning! I live to fight again.
Most of our units can't take 2 axe hits like this.
I'll manage.
Amber's just able to one-shot the mages on this map with a Great Lance.
Why?
I love his why. Alear clears the way and sets up to do the same thing she did last turn, bait a mage so Amber can one-shot them.
I'll help.
There's nothing to fear.
It's amazing how much small things matter. I didn't realize I had the Iron Blade equipped here. That moves the flyer out of Etie's ballista range, which cascades into a total mess. Now Etie can take them out. This is her last map, but she's really putting in work on it. Everyone else is just getting injured while cleaning up.
My apologies. Allow your soul the rest it deserves.
Must keep going.
Was that too much?
Forgive me. I won't let you do what you want.
Now that we have a bunch of Brodian level 10 units, even someone like Saline can get tons of XP from Great Sacrifice.
Leave now, or my duty demands you be destroyed. Nothing personal.
Kagetsu, alas, did not cooperate. I imagine you could probably figure out a contingency for this situation, but we have plenty of rewinds, and as it turns out, enemy movement operates on a different random sequence than hits and misses. You can reroll without changing your own moves. Much better. Diamant now gets to show off.
I won't lose. Stand down or perish.
The fire will do extra damage to Kagetsu next turn, and it limits his movement.
My name is Kagetsu. Pleased to meet you. If only it were under friendlier circumstances.
There's my opening. It's time!
Now I'm trying to optimize my Alear movement. Alfred needs Divinely Inspiring for his kill, but Amber loses Aspiring Hero in the current position. So now I need to deal with the other side first.
I win this one.
Ulcris takes out a flyer.
I'm still alive? Huh.
Zelkov's quite evasive, but Etie's ballista hits are accurate. Yunaka can finish the job.
Oblivion is near. How unfortunate. I must return to Princess Ivy.
We don't want Chloé to be broken, but we want Marth to recharge. Now, Alear can take out the Axe Fighter.
There's nothing to fear.
Amber's now able to guarantee a kill on the mage. There's a nasty surprise. This flyer has the Levin sword, so she's actually a huge risk to Amber. Citrine has fantastic resistance conversely, so even though it looks ridiculous, our mage can protect Amber from a flyer.
My turn.
Lapis can further wall off Amber.
I'm here.
Who among us hasn't eaten one of their weapons when peckish?
And they lived happily ever after.
Have at you. Oh no!
Ah! I totally calculated Kagetsu wouldn't kill even with a crit. Yup. Just so good at planning. There's an annoying conundrum here. I want Chloé to have Alear support while baiting Ivy, and I want her to do that from as far north as possible. Everyone else can take their time cleaning up and getting ready to engage her.
This time, victory was mine.
Diamant can take out the flyer weighed down by the Levin sword.
That was a fierce battle.
I want to give Amber this kill, but Citrine's currently using an emblem and gains more from it. By trading Diamant Volkfanger, Lapis' chain attack can kill on its own.
Defeated. I am defeated. I must retreat.
I can do better.
Saline's back in action and keeps the experience fountain flowing.
Please grant me your strength. I have to fight. That was a cinch.
This is the worst spot Ivy could have attacked from. You can probably make it work, and I tried, but Amber got unlucky and died, so I just rerolled her movement.
With this emblem's strength and my own, there will be no defeating me.
Now Ivy's in a much better spot. Her attack on Chloé refills her meter. Compared to Chapter 7, with such a tense final turn, I'm thinking more about Micaiah XP than actually defeating Ivy here.
That was a cinch.
Sword users attacking Ivy make her use the Master Lance, which isn't very good, so Diamant and Lapis are useful to have in range here.
For you, anything.
What a pleasure it is to see you up close, Divine One.
That ring should be in Letho's castle. Return it.
If I say no, will you come nearer?
I'm here.
This should do it.
That could have gone better. I enjoy Ivy's interactions with Alear here. They work well on repeat viewing without detracting from the initial experience. Vantage is actually useful for setting up Micaiah. While I finish up, I'll conclude the tutorial part of this series. If you followed along so far, you have a great team. This map's a castle map. Those are supposed to be hard. We're crushing it, and I have a promoted level 10 Anna sitting on my bench. After this, we'll get second seals, which really open up class changing. Also, we now have a lot of units. Someone like Alfred, who's important for any team in the early game, isn't someone I can just assume you're deploying going forward. I'm just going to do my own thing, and you should too. You have a great foundation. I'm still going to be talking through ideas and motifs each map, but there will be things I do you can't, and vice versa. Making those choices is how you express yourself as a player. It's the fun part. I think this series is only beginning to hit its stride.
I'm getting hungry. Here!
Over here! Please stop!
It's just like my fairy tales.
Chloé does the honors with Mercurius.
My prayers are with you.
No. The ring.
We recovered the ring, but the emblem is tainted with Fell Dragon energy. I'll have to summon him again myself. Free us! Emblem of Genealogy!
I am Leaf. Thank you for letting me swing a sword with these arms again. I will do what I can to retrieve that which has been stolen.
Thank you, Leaf.
How could I have failed?
It's over, Princess Ivy. Surrender.
I will not. There is more for me to do.
No!
She's gone.
Your Highness, urgent news from the border.
What is it?
An Elusian battalion stands at the ready. King Hyacinth is acting as general. He's leading their army himself.
What?
Yes. And he is demanding to see King Morian.
I must face him. Anything less would bring dishonor to Brodia.
Father, he's baiting you. This may be a trap of some kind. Go back inside.
Ha! I can fight my way out of whatever trap he springs.
I urge you to reconsider.
Listen, who's the father and who's the son here? Stop trying to protect me. Son, this has been happening a lot lately. What's it all about? Are you worried Brodia might lose this war? Or lose its king?
We're not ready for any of this. Brodia to lose its king. Or me, my father.
Diamant.
From a young age, I was told I would lead Brodia after you died. Imagine, a boy forced to anticipate his father's death. To think of that empty throne. The Fell Dragon has returned. War is here. The future is uncertain, and I'm not ready.
It's all right, Diamant. If I die, I die. Brodia will live on.
But, Father...
What? You don't believe me? After I'm gone, I know you will lead with a steady hand. Though, I'm offended you expect that day to come so soon. You think I'm gonna lose, huh? You think I'm weak? That I need your protection? Oh, the hubris of youth.
That's not what I meant.
King Hyacinth awaits me on the field of war, his army at the ready. If Brodia hides, then what? After years locked in battle with Elusia, will we reveal ourselves as cowards? Listen to me, Diamant. I will fight bravely for Brodia. I do not fear death. Being known as a king who runs from battle, that scares me far more. What do you think about this, Allchrist?
Me?
If I die, and Diamant alongside me, you will take the throne.
Father, don't say that.
I will not let that pass. I will protect Diamant to the bitter end.
Allchrist.
Haha, that's my boy! Diamant, you could learn a thing or two from your brother. Fear has no place in my kingdom. If we step into fear, then we step out of Brodia. Now then, to the border!
It seems I can't dissuade you from this path. All I can do is walk it with you. Come on, everyone. Let's show Elusia why we're called the Kingdom of Might.
Haha, that's it. This won't be the last time I see the castle. And when I'm back, a tournament with our strongest warriors. That means you, Divine One.
Me?
Yes, I want to see you transform into a mighty dragon. Whoosh! Roar!
Oh, okay.
What's the matter?
Nothing. You're right. I could turn into a dragon.
Haha, I'm looking forward to that.
I'd like to spar with you too, Divine One, after Father gets his chance. But that's for later. Now, we should prepare for our journey to the border.
Indeed.
This talk of turning into a dragon. Mother could. Can I? I have no idea if I can. Or how.
Figure it out, Alear. Please. I'm begging you. Oh, and we just got 30,000 gold. Next time, I'll be back in the Somniel, and you'll start to see what I'm cooking up for my team. From there, we'll play our first DLC maps. Should be fun.
We'll return soon. I leave Brodia Castle in the Royal Guard's capable hands.
Yes, Your Majesty.
You can count on us. Done a fine job protecting it all these years, haven't we? We won't start slacking off just because you're not around.
Excellent. And when we return, you'll be treated to a victory feast.
Looking forward to it. See you soon, Your Majesty.
Strong of body.
Strong of heart.
All right, time to head out.
Here we go.
They're wrapping up their goodbyes.
Yes. On to the border.